All right, we are live. Another big edition of TigerBait Live. Lots to discuss tonight. Recruiting going on in every sport. LSU baseball with only a few SEC series left before postseason play starts, and this season has moved at a rapid pace. We had Jay Johnson and players today. We can talk about that. I was out at Denham Springs this afternoon, out filming some recruits, and boy, Deshaun McBride just blew me away. I want to talk about him. And we got a lot more, of course, brought to you by Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. We'll talk more about them later in the show. And, of course, as always, if you're enjoying the show, do us a favor. Please hit the like button. Share the show. Let everybody know we're live. Put it on your Facebook. Text it out to your fellow LSU friends and spread the word that we're live. We're going to go for a full hour tonight. And welcome in, buddy.
Good to see you, Mike. Hey, appreciate. By the way, don't forget, folks, this is Wednesday night. The publisher of TigerBait.com and been doing a great job. I know Mike appreciates from the bottom of his heart the growth and the interest and all the likes and all of the new subscribers and all of the things that you've accomplished with your team. And look, it was great to get the week off. I am charged up, fired up. And, you know, we said this early on in 2023. And sometimes you throw something against the wall and sometimes it sticks. We told LSU there was a potential of 23 being a really good year. Are you so happy? Because if you're not, you got a bad relationship or something's going on, because it's a great time to be a Tiger fan. Who would have thought Kim Mulkey and LSU would win it in year two? Who would have thought Jay Johnson would be number one the whole season going into the last 3 weekends in the SEC? And who would have thought Brian Kelly is throwing bombs at the Houston Touchdown Club? And I got a tidbit to share with you that I got from ND that is going to blow people's minds. So we got a lot of tidbits. Great to be back. But really, thank the good Lord at night for once being here and staying healthy with your family. But it's a great time to be a Tiger fan right now, Mike.
It absolutely is. And the rich are getting richer. Of course, we had the Van Lith news last week. We're waiting on Morrow from DePaul, and she had a great visit. I do know that. I got some info on that this morning. I will say that it doesn't feel like there's a whole lot of maybe I tend to think maybe they're holding their cards a little closer to the vest on this one. We're going to see how far she goes. Does she visit this weekend somewhere else? Is there anybody else that gets added? But of course, Mulkey and her staff were in New York City. Her picking up another award. She's ringing the bell at the stock exchange. And it seems like every time we see an NIL list of who's the biggest earners, there's half of them are LSU girls. Livy Dunn, Angel Reese, Flaugier, and now Van Lith. It's crazy that it's the girls. It's the girls.
Well,
but I think it's the influence part of it, what they have on Instagram, what they do on Instagram, and the products that they can move versus what the guys can move. And
if you remember,
it makes sense.
They were the first university program to have the NIL up in the bulletins of New York. Okay, Livy Dunn, the highest paid NIL college athlete right now, estimation $3.5 million, just got invited to do the swimsuit show this calendar this summer, or she's already done it. I guess it'll be released this summer. But I know a lot of the guys saying, you guys continue to talk about the women so much. Here's what Kim Mulkey and LSU has done since they won the national championship. As you just mentioned, the four ladies in the top 10 with NIL. Brian Kelly's not a dummy. Guess what he does? He gets Joe Burrow to come down and Angel Reese to recruit Bayou Barbie, and they're doing the ring stuff, okay? They are all utilizing each other. Haley Bryant, the gymnastics, everybody pulling for everybody. All of this alignment stuff, you say, oh, it's a bunch of sap BS. It's going well right now.
My question is that going to be the way that list, as they produce them in the years to come, is it going to be predominantly made up of wimp girl athletes.
No, because football is naturally going to ascend. Eli Manning, there was a report that he had $3.5 million in NIL,
yeah.
but his parents said he's not going to get any of it until he becomes a starter, whether or not that comes to reality. But my point is this, LSU, the brand, you cannot put an amount of money on advertising and marketing to see Kim Mulkey in New York, to see her getting and see Angel Reese. Look, there's a lot of haters. I don't.
Well, I mean, this just as an example. You can we'll say, hey, let's have an argument. Who's the best football player at LSU right now? Is it Jaden Daniels? Is it Harold Perkins? Is it Will Campbell? Okay. Is it Malik Neighbors? I mean, whoever you want to say.
Jaden Daniels right now. He's got more skins on
All
the
right,
wall.
but he doesn't have the NIL deal that Angel Reese and any of these.
But he's got more skins on the wall, and guarantee you, he's going to have plenty of.
And then it gets to the
NIL.
point where it's like, particularly, we're like, okay, even when you win a national championship, you're wondering, okay, Mulkey didn't have anybody get in the portal. Brian Kelly didn't have anybody get in the portal. Why is that?
Jay might have some because there's just so much talent. Going to give you some.
But there's NIL collective money for baseball too.
Yeah, well, yeah, but look, everybody knows that to the victor go the spoils, and it's just a good time. We all lamented on two things. What are going to be the impact of NIL, and what's going to be the impact of the transfer portal? I got a great story to tell you from the Houston TD Club about Brian Kelly and why my nickname of Coconuts for him is going to stick. I don't know if you heard what I'm talking about, but it's just a good time. Nobody left. I watched the spring game again, so we got some more tidbits on that. Look, I've been salivating on this show for about a year about getting the running back from Notre Dame. And
Logan Diggs.
if Logan Diggs ends up signing with LSU, you're going to have a ball-busting load to tackle. Josh Williams gets every ounce of his talent. Armani Goodwin's been hurt. John Emery not in the mix right now. Caleb Jackson coming off a whole year of injury. Noah Cain been there. Nobody appreciates him until after the game. But all these people saying, oh, they'll need another running back.
They do.
Are you crazy? So I'm hoping that he comes down the hatch. You got any more update on Amos, the cornerback? Because you and I both think they need to add a DB.
Yeah, but a lot of pressure on him. A lot of people in Lafayette had enough of Napier, the Cajun fans that I'm seeing.
But they can't compete against NIL money.
They believe
Mike.
that kid got in the portal because of tampering. But
You mean with Florida? Okay.
yeah, Florida. But does he end up at Florida? Does he end up at LSU? Alabama's in there. I mean, he within an hour he had about 16 offers, and all of them incredible offers.
Keon Coleman, another one I want to ask you. Let's go to the board here and get some response here. Keon Coleman, you saw him, dual sport athlete, one of those guys that wants to play hoops and football. Very good receiver from Michigan State, 6'4", 215, big receiver. Is LSU in on him? I know he's visiting Florida State this weekend. What are you hearing?
I haven't heard anything.
No? Okay.
I'm not sure on that one.
I heard they're in on him, but he's going to Florida State this weekend.
All right, let's dive into it. We got a lot of catching up to do. Fire 3449. Hey, Mike. Coach Jay Johnson recently said that they told Skeens that he would not be a two-way player, but could we see Johnson use Skeens as a pinch hitter in a tournament game? I don't think so.
No, I don't either.
No, he doesn't need him. And he tells everybody to hit the like button. Thank you for that. As does LSU Man 38. Thank you. And Ernst Court says, hello, guys. Kevin Ray, hello. Enjoy your show. Do you have any info on Morrow? Okay, we talked about that already. You said that at 8:04, and I think that's about the time we started to talk about it. I know she had a great visit. No time frame on whether it's she's going to announce something early next week. I don't have any timetable on her, but I don't think it's going to go long.
Well, she won a state championship in high school. Her daddy played football at Nebraska. Her mama played basketball at Nebraska. Her brother played at Nebraska and Marquette. The major she's got, they love it here, love that. You saw all of the pictures. A 6'1", 25 and some change, 12 and a half rebounds some change. Look, this is a great thing
You see
about
the video of her hotel room?
Yeah, but this is a great thing about Kim Mulkey. I want to stretch something real quick because Mike and I were talking during the whole year. We promise I'll tell you a quick story. But I was wondering why Kateri Poole was playing so much. And Kim Mulkey was probably saying, look, Fatso dumbass, there's a reason behind the method, behind the madness. But she needed the bigger body on defense. But here's what people don't realize. LSU was so good. That was not a fluke. They watched how Iowa let Caitlin Clark go to the hoop, dish off, and have scoop playoffs. The first thing Bob Starkey and LSU defensively did, stop, dribble, drive, penetration. She didn't go to the basket at LSU. They cut them off. Those are the little things. Remember when Nick Saban won a national championship? He had the coconuts to take out Jalen Hurts and put in Tua Tagovailoa, who threw a touchdown pass to Devonta Smith from a meet his freshman year. What we're saying here is that you got to have luck. You got to stay healthy. You got to have the players. But you got to also realize coaching decisions from the best in the country make a big difference. And Kim Mulkey is the best in the country in women's basketball.
Ed O, the bus driver. Good evening, Mike and Buddy. Glad to have you with us as always. Diggs, Coleman, or Amos, which do the Tigers pick up? Asked Chance Babin. I think that when Diggs got in the portal, the highest odds were on LSU. I still think that that's the case. But immediately, I think the NIL offers started getting crazy, and it made things a lot more interesting than it needed to be. And so I think there's been a lot of work being done. You always talk about sharpening the pencil. I think that's a lot of what's been going on, just based on the information that I've gotten. Critter Getter, pumped up, fired up, and ready to go. All right. Let me scroll down. Hal Jubin, LSU and Matt McMahon need to find a way to get NIL deals for the men's team. Yeah.
Well, he's the last of the four, Mike.
And Barry Barbier, why don't we talk about men's basketball?
Well, look, you brought in Vanilla Ice, of course, Will Baker, the 7-footer from Nevada. The guards are going to be great players. Look, they've got about 11 right now. They need 2 more players to come in there. But when you talk about Mulkey, Jay Johnson, and Brian Kelly and what they've done in the transfer portal, we've said it 100 times on the show. Matt McMahon's going to have to get the sugar daddy to bring in a couple of good recruits and be active in the transfer portal. I think the roster is going to be appreciably better. No disrespect to those guards last year, but that was some tough guard play to watch. And at times, LSU fans will say men's basketball was unwatchable, even though that's normally the case when you talk about women's basketball. That all being said, I think people will wait and see it on what he's going to do. But the other 3 coaches are killing it in the portal and on NIL.
Matt McMahon has got to get something in there that moves the needle. He's just got to. I always bring up Google Analytics and our YouTube shows and our content on website. He's got to get something in there, a player that just really turns heads and gets people excited.
Well, look, Adam Miller and Sean.
That's not going to do it.
The big 7-footer and Adam Miller are both going to Arizona State, and I got to be honest with you. I took issue with Matt McMahon a couple times. Not that I'm a coach, but I've watched it a long time. When you got Adam Miller taking 7 3 balls and not even squaring your shoulders one time in the first half, his butt should have been on the bench. Now, when he gets hot, he hits a few, but shot selection, chemistry, KJ Williams really their only solid player last year. They were able to keep some of the young players. I think you got to give him a chance, but man, he's got a long way to go to get a lot of airtime on these shows.
And unfortunately, you think about that run that John Brady had and how he had a stretch there in the early 2000s of what Baton Rouge gave him. The Temple brothers, Big Baby, Brandon Bass, Tyrus Thomas grew from one year to the next.
6'2" to 6'8".
And then, of course, Stromal Swift early on. Louisiana is just not doing it.
Daryl Mitchell in your corner.
Yeah. And I think back then, I don't know how high Brady was on Daryl Mitchell. I think that was Bush Pierre had to twist his arm.
Well, yeah.
And, of course, we all know what he did to beat Texas A&M before they went and got Duke. But, yeah.
By the way, during the show tonight, we're going to talk once again about those players that were not available for spring. And, Mike, it is 27 or 28 of them. How many more do you think they pick up in the portal? They didn't lose anybody in the portal. But how many more football players do they pick up in this portal? 3, 4, 5?
I think
what?
3.
3 or 4? Okay. We'll see.
DA Mike, I'm from Franklin. In your high school category, I bet you made a few trips to Patterson High for Hilliard National Championship. Harry Coleman, West St. Mary. Absolutely. Hawkins. But Patterson is like Brobridge right now. What's going on? Where you at? I mean, what year was Traven Durrell? 2010? Him and Lamar Lewis? What's going on at Brobridge? You can't tell me Brobridge High School isn't stacked with talent. And why has Patterson gone so long?
Dalton, here, I remember it was like yesterday. 5'9", 185 when he signed. No hullabaloo at all. This was before recruiting blew up. Gary James was the big name that year. He waited a month to sign. Hilliard ended up
calling you out, Brobridge.
Hilliard ended up being better
There
than
was
Gary
a stretch. We did a report where we did a deep dive. I'm going to say maybe 2008 or 9. I can't. Where we charted the signees from Louisiana high schools that ended up panning out at the highest hit rate. And Brobridge was number 1 ahead of West Monroe at that time. And since Moad retired at Brobridge, we haven't seen anything out of that high school. They've had 1 or 2 that maybe had a blip on the radar. They didn't have grades. But I'm convinced that high school is like a lot of high schools in Louisiana. You've got athletes walking the hallways that are not participating.
And West Monroe's never been the same since the passing.
Yeah, Don Schaus.
Yeah.
They're all excited about their new hire up there. And but, yeah.
By the way, in case you missed it, new coach, the D-line coach, Jimmy Lindsey, getting $750 a year. I know a lot of South Carolina people are going, are you guys overpaid? He was making $475 or $500 over here. South Carolina people, I say spicy, a lot of people say salty. They don't eat anything from South Carolina food because they're salty. Too much salt. They're pissed that Kim's got 4 and Dawn's got 2. We thought that was going to be 3-3 tied up after this year. They just have been mad. And then they're sitting there bragging, oh, yeah, our baseball team would have kicked LSU's butt. They didn't want to play the 3rd game. So Carolina doesn't have a lot of affinity for LSU and Baton Rouge right now.
Doug knows Matt McMahon needs the NCAA to make a decision. He mentioned in an interview today, it's absolutely brought up with high school recruits. That's true, too.
Who's that?
The final ruling from the NCAA with Will Wade and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
For basketball. That's part of what they're doing. They're not going to give LSU anything, but by delaying the announcement, they're giving LSU something, right?
I think it's going to be a slap on the wrist when it's all said and
Well,
done.
it hasn't been a slap on the wrist. Basically LSU's been getting penalized all this time.
But I'm saying no more.
If they come out and say we're not doing anything, well, they have been doing something these multiple years in a row where they've kept quiet. I think that's one of those deals too, where Tate and Woodward need to, get SEC commissioner to start bending throwing some elbows and make something happen.
I'm in too good a mood to talk about Sankey tonight, but it looks like he screwed the pooch on the SEC TV deal with ESPN. You don't negotiate that deal and then bring Texas and Oklahoma in after the fact. ESPN, Cox, and everybody with cable's losing by the millions subscribers. And
well, what about this raising for storming the field?
Ridiculous.
I mean,
that's not going to go through. I've got legal people tell me that would never pass. They'd have lawsuit after lawsuit.
I mean, his approval rating has been pretty darn high. And now he's starting to have these missteps. He's about to look like an NFL commissioner here if he doesn't watch out.
Here's the deal. This 8 or 9 conference game schedule is still up in the air because of this TV contract.
This SEC meetings in Destin at the end of the month is going to be huge.
Yep.
I was at Alex Box today for Jay Johnson. That video is up on our YouTube channel. And I asked Rabelais at the Advocate if he was going. He said, yeah, and because I think there's going to be a lot more a big media focus. The SEC doesn't encourage media to go to that thing, but they're all going to be going. I think they're going to have their biggest group there this year, and then you're just weeks away from SEC football media days. But that's where all that stuff's going to be hashed out. Critter Getter, guys, we are solid. We are solid at quarterback, running back, wide receivers. What about our kicking game? I wasn't too excited about what I saw in the spring game. No way.
I equate kicking and golfing very similar. And when you are a golfer, you want to max out and peak with the 4 majors. I don't care if they're missing 40-yarders in the spring. The question is, Mike, is it going to be Damian Ramos or Nathan Dybert? And are they going to have the confidence to do it better in the fall than they did in the spring? So, look, you got no problems with Slade Roy as your snapper. You're going to have appreciably better blocking schemes. He called it. He told me before, Brian Polian probably going to get moved. It happened. We wish him the best. But that was atrocious, some of those blocking formations last year with the kick game.
He takes the Bill Elias track after football.
But look, and Bramblett is the holder and the punter. But who's going to kick off and who's going to kick field goals and PATs, I think still to be determined. And since Aaron Anderson was not out there in the spring, you hope that they're going to be appreciably better. No disrespect to Greg Clayton, who changed from 26 to 80, but I want to see a punt returner for LSU have a chance to get more than 4.1 yards.
Don Wheat, 33. Do y'all think Scott Woodward will make a move on Beth Torina, the softball coach?
That's your cup of tea there.
That's not my cup of tea, but I do know some season ticket holders that voice their aggravation to me, and I got to listen to it. And I don't know how vocal they are. I don't know how much Scott Woodward runs across those people. I don't know how often Scott Woodward actually goes to a softball game. I saw Scott Woodward at the end of the women's basketball season, but up until postseason play, I never saw him at a women's basketball game. I don't think he goes to many sporting events other than football.
Well, they got a great lefty coming in. She's got a great class coming in.
But I'm sure he looks at the bottom line and, you know.
No, it's a loss leader product like all the women's sports are.
No, I'm talking about the bottom lines of wins and losses and where you're going to finish in the league.
Well, they don't have consistent hitting in clutch.
People are worn out.
And she's been very loyal to her coaches, and you know what happens when they don't go to OK City. People want to see blood.
You include COVID years, and it's been a long time.
Yeah. Well, look, I like Coach Torina. I think she's a class act. But if she doesn't get it done this year, then you got to know next year is it. But
it's always, she's got a great recruiting class coming. Eventually, you got to cut bait.
Yeah, but she got a lefty that could be dominant, and one pitcher in softball can make a big difference.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Hey, when you talk about the bottom line, football clears $60 million. That's a little more important than any of the other sports as far as bottom line.
Fire 344. Mike, one of the biggest problems that high school coaches do not recruit inside their own school. As a high school coach for the past 27 years, I constantly talk to the kids about coming out for the team. It's absolutely true. I have a guy that I went to college with, went into coaching, followed a Louisiana high school coach that was a legend, and none of the kids went out. For one reason or the other. You got to have a coach with charisma. That's absolutely true. You got to have a coach that the parents get wide-eyed and say, Jimmy, you're going out. You're playing. Because they know who the guy is or who he is and what he's capable of. There's a lot of programs. Karen Crow fell that way until they brought Corville back. You see it all over the place. I mean, I look at some of the schools across the state of Louisiana when I go around, and I'm like, this place, I know there's athletes in the building. They're just not here. They're not participating.
But can I give you a little difference here?
All these 5A schools could be big. They're a charismatic coach away from being huge.
That's all we had growing up is sports. See? These kids have so many diversions now. They don't have the same dedication and history with their parents teaching them. You need to play basketball in basketball season, football, baseball, the whole 9 yards. The other thing, I got a couple friends.
And I do think some other things that hurt people, these schools. If you're running the veer, most kids don't want to participate.
Yeah, but
in that.
everybody's going to the spread now for the most part.
No, but there's still some holdouts that are running that veer.
But I had a couple friends that had kids that were big. And I said, why isn't your son playing football? He said, I told him you're going to play the first year. And he said, Dad, I don't want to play. Big guy, didn't want to get physical, didn't want to rough it up. You can't make these kids do something they don't want to do. So it is, I do think, though, with everybody living vicariously through this phone now, it's a lot different getting kids to get out on the athletic fields.
Today I was out at Denham Springs and TigerBait Premium. If you're not a subscriber, you're going to check it out. Deshaun McBride, I can tell you, I haven't been this excited about seeing a safety since I saw Jamal Adams in Chicago. Every bit of 6'3", 205 pounds, and physically, this LSU commit, I think he's as impressive physically and mature physically as any current LSU defensive back.
You know if he's an early enrollee?
I don't know that.
Okay.
I should ask.
Because I'll tell you what.
But I'll find out. But it wouldn't surprise me if he is. I would think that he is. He's a good student, and I've got some unbelievable footage of him today. And talked to Coach Beard. He was fantastic. Interviews and some action footage. And this kid is big time. I think he's underrated. I think he's one of the top 2 or 3 players in the state of Louisiana for next year. That's how good I think this kid is.
Yeah.
And he could play. He could move up, play 50, at 15, 20 pounds, be an outside linebacker. He's that physical. He's a run stopper, long run, jump, track kid. Man, I was blown away by this kid today. I didn't get to see Denham last season. And Alabama was there today.
Yeah, you told me.
Alabama coach was there today. He's too late. They're not getting him.
But
so LSU fans be really excited about Deshaun McBride.
But you're accentuating a problem that you and I think is going to come up in 2023. Just how physical is LSU going to be in the secondary? It blew my mind that Mekhi Garner came over from ULL, Raging Cajuns, and played pretty damn good and didn't get drafted. Got an undrafted free agent deal with Philadelphia, who, by the way, got an NIL deal with Georgia. All those Georgia Bulldogs over with Philly now. But who is going to be that snot knocker? You know that receiver that's got that slant, and you got that safety coming up, and everybody can hear the leather pop and the noise, and the crowd's going, ooh, ah. And he's standing over him like, bruh, you come back again, I'm going to bust you up even more. Really, Brooks, Major Burns, Sage Ryan, the corners. Toviano is more physical. He's coming in, but he's a true freshman. That's why I think McBride, Kylan Jackson's coming in. Can he learn quick enough? LSU's got to get more physical in the secondary. I think they'll address that.
Kylan Jackson is an impressive kid physically.
He is a snot knocker.
Yes.
But I think they will address that in the next couple of classes.
So it's when you start adding these little pieces, you really, because you're still having to do what you're doing in the portal to get your cornerback room and your safety room right? You're not going to have to do that in the next year or two. With what's coming in, I believe that. I mean, there's always going to be somebody probably that gets in there that's going to and make you think. But the LSU DBU is about to be restocked. Dane Bergeron, good evening, Mike and Buddy. Glad to have you with us, Dane.
Snake.
Yeah.
I always enjoy him and Shark and all the others on the message boards.
All right, guys, it's that time of the show. I want to talk about Alumni Hall. You want to show your LSU Tiger pride? Alumni Hall is your ultimate shopping experience, the best and largest selection of apparel for the whole family. Nike Golf, Nike, Champion, Columbia, Peter Millar, Southern Tide, hats, Yeti, gifts, and accessories. LSU students, faculty, and military receive 10% off in-store every day. And you can earn cash back with their Hall Pass rewards. Alumni Hall, located in Perkins Row, or anytime at alumnihall.com. Alumni Hall, where Tiger fans shop. Go over there and tell them you heard about them on TigerBait. And they've got a super selection of LSU jerseys, new polos, the high-end stuff, Cutter and Buck, you name it. That store is fantastic in Perkins Row. If there's something really, really nice that you want with an LSU logo on it, if they don't have it, nobody does.
Hey, don't have a quickie over there, okay? It is worth going over there and spending 20 to 30 minutes. By the way, got some of the Paul Skeen stuff over there. And so anything that you want, people are chomping at the bit to go to Orlando. I can't believe the number of people that are already talking and planning about going to Vegas for 2024. They will hook you up regardless of the season. And what jersey do you think would be the most popular?
I've been to the Citrus Bowl. That's a very unremarkable facility.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just...
But that Las Vegas facility is the one that that's why everybody's excited. I can't wait.
Hey, real quick, what jersey will sell the most jerseys with football this year? Is it number 4, Perkins? Is it number 5, Jaden Daniels, or somebody else?
I think 4.
4? Okay. Oh, by the way, number 40, if you were kind of hung over from the night before, how about Weeks?
I wonder if a Will Campbell can't sell a lot of jerseys.
Well, he can, but how about number 40, Will Weeks, taking a pick 6 in the spring game? Great job, young man.
I think Emory Jones can sell a lot of jerseys locally.
Yeah. And, of course, this guy right here is going to be, and my prediction, going to be going to LCC Media Days with Brian Kelly.
Yeah, Doug knows Tarina does not have a chance once OU joins the SEC. So if you're finishing where you're finishing now, and you got Gasso coming with Oklahoma.
Ooh, they good.
And Texas is a good softball program too. It doesn't get any easier.
Well, and you got to understand one other thing too. She's the last coach that was not hired by Scott Woodward, and so we shall see. Dennis Shaver, of course, also falls in there, but Dennis continues to have LSU women and men in the top 5.
American Patriot, you need a Nuss bobblehead next to JD5. If they sold one, I will buy it. I haven't seen one. That's the only bobblehead I've seen for a current player.
I am going to be calm, but Garrett Nussmeier had about as much chance of hitting the transfer portal as I do finding somebody stupid enough to marry me. It was fake news. It was never going to happen. And if you believe that, then shame on you.
Jeff Garman, if McBride gets bigger, will he be a linebacker? I don't know that's going to be his trajectory, but I'm saying he could. I mean, you can do a lot of things with him. I was watching him punt today.
Man, listen, some of the safeties that, like you mentioned, Jamal Adams and Grant Delpit and all those, that's what I was talking about, getting that physicality when you send a message, when those wide receivers, those running backs, and those quarterbacks run the football on you.
I watch Denham Spring kids want no part of being hit by him.
Yeah, sure.
And I'm watching this kid make tackles. When you see the footage, go subscribe to TigerBait after the show tonight. I'm going to have all this up on the site tomorrow. And I might go back there again before they end spring and film him some more. I want to see some more of him, and I don't want to wait 3 months to the start of football season. But he is something else. I think I sent Preston to one game I think I sent him to Denham, or maybe I sent Joe to a game with Denham last year, and I didn't go see him. So that it's one thing to see a kid in person versus seeing him on Huddle and that grainy footage that they put out versus the great footage that we put out on TigerBait. You'll see what I'm talking about when I load this up tomorrow. So go to TigerBait and subscribe if you're not with us already. $1, you can try us out. Paul Escon, Spicy Buddy is as good as Spicy Manda sausage.
Well, no, I'm not going to expound on the Garrett Nussmeier stuff, but if you heard that kid, the crackling in his voice, he was born in Lake Charles. He got an NIL deal after the Georgia second half. He knows he's one play away from starting this year if Jaden Daniels gets hurt. He knows the 24 spot is going to be given to him the first shot. He also knows that all you people going to Alabama, Gordon McKernan did he let Kayshon Boutte go to Alabama? No. Did LSU and Brian Kelly let Boutte go to Alabama? No. They wouldn't have let him go. They're not stupid. This is why the guy's making $10 million a year. So if you believe that was a possibility, oh, by the way, how many left the transfer portal this last time?
0.
Okay, so Nussmeier was thinking about it, right?
It's amazing. No transfer portal kids this time for LSU in football or women's basketball.
It's the silly season.
Especially women's basketball, though. That they got it too good.
But it's the silly season. How about this, Mike? USA Today comes out. LSU's preseason 15. CBS comes out. CBS Sports comes out, and they're number 1. So I think Mike and I both feel like they're going to be right in the middle of that, somewhere at 6, 7, or 8 on your preseason polls.
I think that's about right. Like I said on your show earlier, I think Brian Kelly would like to be 15th or 16th. That's, the lower the better for him. He's able to sell that.
Not this year.
But I think 6, 7, 8. That's okay.
And Florida State will be 8, 9, or 10.
You take care of business, you'll be in the top 5 in a blink of an eye.
Sure.
Because you look at some of those teams that are listed there. The non-SEC teams, I'm not buying it.
No.
Dane Burns said he'll be in Orlando wearing his Burrow jersey with the EAUX.
Hey, how cool was that for Kelly to get Burrow and Chase down here for the spring game? Then he deadpanned it. He said, Joe Burrow's going to be here. By the way, he does a great job of recruiting quarterbacks. Cobble with Channel 2, we all know Cobbs, asks more questions usually at a press conference than anybody else. That's just his M.O. and does a good job with that. So he says, is he really coming? And, of course, Crowley said, no, he's not coming at all. He ends up coming, but here's the mindset. Bayou Barbie, and they're both looking at the rings. This is what these kids, Joe Burrow's talking to the quarterback in 2026, and he's telling him, I decided between Cincinnati and LSU, and the next time I sign a contract, I'm going to make about $56 million a year. It's a hell of a decision. Along with Angel Reese, just got a brand new Mercedes. Mike tried to get a ride with her, and she said, sorry, not just yet. What I'm trying to tell you, folks, is the brand, a lot of people think it's too much personal stuff. This is how you get people invested. Don't you think LSU has more eyes on it now with all this stuff? But that was a real coup, I thought, getting Burrow, Chase, and all those guys.
I think that was smart.
Yeah, of course it was.
I don't know how that got floated or that idea, who came up with it.
I don't either.
But that was a big time decision. Or whoever the idea man gets big kudos. Okay, you guys that are coming late, a lot of people asking about Morrow, and somebody last week said, man, what's with all the women's basketball recruiting talk? You guys drive the show. I looked up last week when I did this show solo, and I swear to God, I don't think we had a single LSU baseball question in an hour with a number 1 ranked baseball team. Now, we've had some tonight, but that was crazy to me. It was all Van Lith last week, and now we're getting a ton of Morrow. The Mulkey fever continues. Yeah, they've got an open spot even if they get Morrow.
Yeah. By the way, Mike did a great job. I tell Mike all the time, people enjoy what he brings to the table. Of course, he's been in on this. Anissa Morrow, 6'1", her major fits right with LSU. Everybody said it was a fantastic visit. Kim Mulkey is going to be able to control the ego and the shots and the chemistry. Whether or not she visits South Carolina, we'll probably know by this weekend. But right now, when you are selling what LSU has, it's tough to say no.
And here's the other thing. Don't think that it doesn't matter when Mulkey brings in recruits, whether they're transfer portal kids that are high profile or high school recruits, that when you got Dr. Tate and his wife on board as much as they are for women's basketball, and you got to believe they're a part of the recruiting process and in on the meeting. I wouldn't be shocked if on the big meal on the Friday night when they're going to the fanciest restaurant in town, if the Tates aren't at the meal. So what does that say to a prospective recruit and her parents if they're with her when that's happening? That you've got the university president that knows every detail about you and is there personally along with the head coach.
Yeah, and the previous president, Chancellor Frick King Alexander, is over at Baton Rouge Country Club 10 years ago telling them, I don't really like all this emphasis on athletics. I want more academics.
Well, he had a whiskey tasting.
Well, bottom line is this. Tate has blended in. He loves athletics. Mark Emmert told me numerous times, Mike, buddy, we get more donations and more people involved when they win a national championship. Trust me, it helps.
You'll like this one.
Fundraising.
This is a good one. Jeff Garman, if Morrow comes to LSU, Dawn Staley may get in the portal too.
Well, look, don't sleep
she
on
knows there's a the changing of the guard wasn't supposed to happen like this. Not this soon.
But anyway.
And with the portal and them I'm telling you, y'all want to call it right now? What's going to be the StubHub price third party to get into the PMAC for that game?
Yeah, that'll be a hard sellout, no doubt.
I bet you those are going for $500 or $600 in the rafters.
By the way, LSU baseball hitting .318 as a team. ERA is .440, 87 home runs right now. You and I projected 120 plus. They're going to get there. How cool is it to see Dylan Cruz, 49 walks, double-digit hit by pitches, hitting .486. And then you got Tommy Tanks White, who debunked something today. I'm making a joke here. Guy called me up off the air. He said, did he get all those chains? Is that a Mr. T starter kit? You remember Mr. T with the chains? This guy is loving Baton Rouge, his family loving. They are all on the same cylinders. And Ackenhausen's coming back. Javen Coleman's pitching fantastic. Peyton Kling is back healthy and now should be your right fielder. And Malazzo hitting and Travinsky hitting big home runs. By the way, Chess, I had her on today. She loved the Travinsky interview. Tell me what Gavin
He was
Guidry
really good. Guidry and
said.
Travinsky were excellent today. We've gotten a nice – each week we get different players. Of course, we've probably gotten Skeens more than anybody. I think we only had Cruz a few times. But I like that he keeps rolling out these guys. But both those guys are super kids. And, the chemistry on this baseball team is real. And to have that kind of chemistry with these high-power, high-profile baseball players up and down the roster, Travinsky talking about how it crossed his mind to hit the portal, but he didn't because he wanted to be a part of a national championship. National championship versus maybe, being the number one guy somewhere and the guy and getting every inning of work. That tells you a lot right there. Of course, he's had when he started listing all of his injuries over the years.
Yeah.
He's been through the wars.
6, 8, and 1 this weekend, folks. 6 o'clock on Friday night, 8 o'clock on Saturday, and 1 o'clock on Sunday at Auburn. Host Mississippi State the following weekend, and then that last weekend, everybody plays Thursday, Friday, Saturday because they want to get you ready for the SEC tournament at Georgia that final weekend.
Dane Bergeron with a super chat. Thank you, Dane. Question for Buddy. Do you remember any time in LSU history where there was this much support for LSU athletics by the entire administration? Well, I'd say the entire administration, you're not including professors, correct? Go ahead.
Man, are we going to talk about that man?
No, go ahead.
I forgot what that man's name is, but anyway. I'll just say this on a personal note. If Joe Levin and Frick King Alexander were here, I would be somewhere in Florida on the beach drinking with Hannah Griff with an umbrella in my daiquiri. Of course, Hanny's still back, and we're glad for that. But I don't know you go on his show, but it really changes the whole city and atmosphere when you have people that know what's going on. And I know it's sappy to say alignment, but I really believe everybody's getting along right now.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you this, buddy. You probably followed this closer than I did. I've seen the little bit of stuff on the outside, but I haven't dove into it. Andy Whitaker, FizzBuzz, one of our best posters on our Tiger Den message board. He said, "Did y'all see Vegas isn't accepting bets on Alabama baseball games? J-Boy suspects that there could be point shaving in the Bama program." And that's been kind of the intimation out there that something is amiss.
Well, it's baseball, so it actually would be run shaving, I guess. But this is the thing that we saw, and everybody was kind of crazy. LSU was beating Alabama 8-1, and they had some crazy betting activity going on. Now, the game ended up being 8-6. LSU ends up winning. But, who knows? What all the stuff going on with Alabama in the last 6 months.
When was the last time we've had a scandal like that?
I don't remember it in college baseball. Now,
I've never seen it in
Major
baseball.
League, there's been some, but
in college sports, I mean, are we going all the way back to Tulane? I mean, how far?
there's
There's been somebody. Was there maybe something at St. John's or?
Oh yeah. There's some basketball stuff. There's
Yeah.
there's referees and all that stuff being implicated through the years. But as far as college baseball, here's the thing that I don't understand. They were getting 8-1, and supposedly the article said that they saw some irregular betting. And you can bet during the game now, Mike. You can actually, and of course, in baseball you have odds. I think LSU was a $2.45 favorite in that game, but I don't know. I just know this: Alabama fans don't care about baseball. They don't care about this or that as long as they win in football. And holy cow, they had to go to South Bend, Indiana, to get their next quarterback, Tyler Buckner. And I got to be honest with you. You have some people up there. I do too. I think this is a reach. Tommy Reese at OC and Buckner coming in here. Milroe can run almost as good as Jaden Daniels, but can't throw it. Ty Simpson.
It's always a deal.
They got problems at quarterback.
Look,
this year.
you guys know it. If I say it, there's going to be somebody. No, LSU's going 12-0, right? Okay, but you know it, and everybody does it. Everybody picks LSU to lose to Alabama. And then when they beat Alabama, it's great. It's the biggest game of the year. But in the preseason, you hedge your bet and you go, well, they're going to go 11-1 or whatever. I'm getting real close to saying LSU's going to beat Alabama in Tuscaloosa this year. I'm telling you, I was at 10-2. I'm about to go 11-1. And I think the one might be something other than Alabama.
But I want to wait to see the last additions in the portal.
Yeah, I need to see.
You get Logan Diggs. Let me tell you what, that's a big coup for LSU.
And I want to see every line by line of the guys who didn't participate say, okay, they're 100% now. This guy's 100%, and they're all there. And then I'm about to get there.
30-second story, real quick. Brian Kelly told the Houston folks earlier this week. Did you hear this story? He asked the staff before the game, during the week, if we go into overtime, what do you guys want to do? And they all said, let's go for 2, Coach. So we get to the game, that incredible night that none of us will ever forget. And lo and behold, they scored a touchdown. I think there might have been a timeout or certain. He asked the staff, all right, we're going for 2, right? The staff said, no. We want you to kick it. Kelly said, y'all voted on Thursday to go for 2. Call me coconuts. The rest is history. That's a true story. The staff voted to go for 2. In the pressure of the game, they said, let's kick the PAT and play on. Kelly said, nope, you voted. We're going to do it. Mason Taylor, Jaden Daniels. What a great ending, huh?
That Mason Taylor, I don't think he's come down from that cloud yet.
And how good is he going to be? His body's going to be rested. LSU going to throw to the tight end a bunch this year, folks.
And that scene of him with his mama.
Oh, man.
After the game.
That's what it's all about.
Yep. American Patriot, $4.99. Thank you for the super chat. Last year I predicted JD5 would break the quarterback rushing record. I predict he breaks it again this year. Go Tigers.
Well, if you get Logan Diggs, then you don't need him as much.
Well, and someone here says it, and I agree with him. I don't know that Logan Diggs is that, is he, when you think of, he's not a Falk, he's not a Fournette, where would he fall? Is he a Toefield? Is he a Dominic Davis? Is he, what difference maker category do you put him in?
Can't right now.
I think the main thing for him is that you get a guy that is proven, has played big games, and he gives you another guy who's not always in the whirlpool. He's not always fighting hamstrings. He's not fighting groins, and it gives you another option because you've got two guys, whether it's Emery with his academic situation and Armani Goodwin, who's never had a year of football since his freshman year of high school where he's been healthy for an entire year. And so that leaves you with Josh Williams and two freshmen.
Well, you don't know who the line is going to be,
Kane.
though. The line is going to be good, okay? But are they going to play smash mouth? Are they going to line up on 3rd and 2? Are they going to throw the ball out the backfield to the backs? All that. I'm just saying he is going to be a load to tackle, and I think that they will figure out what his best role is.
Blaine says Diggs is like a Darrell Williams.
Well, no disrespect to Darrell.
I think he's a little bit quicker than Darrell.
I think he is. And
Yeah.
now, look, Darrell had a nice career. Darrell was playing with Kansas City and moved over to Arizona, but he played in the league 5 years or so. But it's irrelevant on the comparison.
But I mean, a lot of it will be about how stout that offensive line is going to be.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You could play smash mouth. If Lance Hurd, Mason Lunsford, DJ Chester, all those guys come in here, you may see too deep. And if Hurd's good as we think he could be, Mike, you could see Emory Jones move inside the guard by midseason.
All right, let's hear from Mike and Alex.
Hey, it's Michael and Alex again with Pride Roofing. Here we grow again. Did your roof get to Niger and Hurricane Ida?
The insurance company is playing game with you.
Don't forget, August 29th is your 2-year anniversary to make a claim.
Your neighbor got new roof, why not you?
Pay your deductible. We're fortified, certified.
We do your roof, you came on the Pride umbrella, bet on Pride.
855
Pride
16.
There you go, Mike Faraday and Alex Martinez with Pride Roofing, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. And super proud of what they're building, based right there in Albany, Louisiana. Mike, an LSU grad, and of course, because they're in Albany, Louisiana, and right there in Tangipahoa Parish, and expanding what they do in their footprint. And they just inked a deal that went public yesterday where they're the official roofing company at Southeastern Louisiana. And had we actually been able to see the ESPN Plus game last night, you would have seen all the Pride roofing on the outboard fence and what's that, the parking garage back there in the back. I saw one of Jacques' photos. You had a big Pride roofing banner, and you had a lot of people show up, LSU fans and Southeastern fans for that one last night. And but they named the basketball arena the Pride Roofing Arena or Pride Roofing Center.
Yeah.
And I've actually was in that center for the first time for the women's high school tournament to see Michaela Williams. And that little arena is not bad. And they're actually going to be throwing concerts in there. I don't know who they're going to be getting, but they're going to be doing some extra events there. And so I think something like that could fly in Hammond. And I think that arena, maybe what holds 4,000 or 5,000. You could absolutely throw some nice concerts there.
Residential, commercial, and don't forget metal roofs. They had the acquisition of Crown Metals that changed the roofing business. Metal roofs are very hot right now. Great guys. I got a buddy of mine that was talking about Alex the other day, helping him out on a roof situation. Look, they're going to get there early. They're going to take care of their business. They're going to leave. They're going to clean up. They're going to sharpen the pencil. You will not be disappointed. You'll have great pride if you do business with them. All we ask, because we're not on TV every frickin' 5 minutes, but give them an opportunity. You won't be disappointed. 275-2041 locally, 1-855-PRIDE-16. And I know Mike and everybody that is affiliated with us and him promoting them, of course, as a roofing sponsor of my show, your show, and South Louisiana. We're proud to have them as a
absolutely. And Mike's Broadmoor High grad and LSU grad and big Tiger fan, went to Hattiesburg for the regional last year.
Yeah. Oh, he was spicy.
Yeah, and he travels to all those baseball games. And so big LSU fan. All right, let me scroll up here and see if let me get to see some of these guys. Randall Alfrecht, and I apologize if I butchered it. Do y'all think this is the best LSU baseball team ever if they win the national championship? I think you would maybe say that just because of the draft potential of line by line of what would be the makeup of the team. How do they do it? They just if they just sail through it and don't have a single loss in any regional or in Omaha to do it and just sweep right through.
But it's different generations. It's hard to compare 93 and 96 and 97 and all these 2000.
Up to this point, which national championship team do you think is the best one ever?
I don't know. When they hit 188 home runs, that was incredible. But look, here's the deal in my opinion. You got 3 or 4 things working here. Can you stay healthy? I think is imperative, especially what's happened so far with the pitchers. Can Jay Johnson make the right decisions late in games with pitching decisions? And that's hit and miss. Obviously, can you get the bounce of the ball and luck? It hits on the chalk and you win the game. It hits over the fence versus coming back. And here's the 4th thing I've taken into consideration this year. Can you be mentally strong enough to handle a sorry-ass strike zone that's been inconsistent all year long?
I wanted to ask that question today. I wanted to ask it of Travinsky. I was this close, but then I'm like, man, I don't know. But because they were talking about having a catching coach and how they, if they get a strike zone and mitt placement and all that stuff. And I wanted to ask them about umpires. Do they have a chart like, oh, we got so-and-so tonight behind us, but that as the analytic to death as they are, believe me, they've got a whole dossier on SEC umpires and who's doing what and who's prone to do what and where you got to have ball placement. But yeah, believe me, that's a subject that's in there.
2 weeks ago, Thatcher Hurd had a 2-2 count, throws a ball that should have been called a strike. He calls it a ball. He walks him. Next guy hits a double off the wall and gives up 2 runs. You have got to be physically strong enough, mentally strong enough, and psychologically strong enough not to say to the ump, because what happened to the Florida pitcher when he got kicked out? 4-game suspension. So you got to make sure that they don't lose their cool. But I'm telling you, Mike, there's not a game that I've watched this year where there were 7 to 10 pitches where I'm going like, no, he missed it. And I think everybody would agree. So what kind of strike zone do you have in Omaha? Look, if he doesn't get to Omaha this year with this team, Jay and his wife are going to have to shop after midnight. There's no doubt. Seriously.
Yeah. Dane Bergeron says, go, Buddy, 100% correct on the strike zone. Yeah, I never said don't take him, but let's not act like he makes or breaks his team. I'm assuming you're talking about Diggs.
Yeah.
No, I can tell you Frank Wilson wants him.
Yeah.
And there was some real smoke last year. I think they wanted him last year. All right, let me scroll down, guys.
By the way, LSU is a plus 400 to win the Natty. They still are the favorite to win the national championship on all of the betting services. So we'll see how that plays. But at this point, Mike, it would be hard for LSU not to be a top national 8 seed. I don't see that happen in any way, shape, or form. So you're going to host a regional, you're going to host a super regional.
Chance Babin posted this, and I saw it a few other times. Mike, did you see that Patrick Mahomes' creepy brother got arrested?
Yeah, I saw that.
I don't know what's going on.
I tried to forcibly kiss the bar owner. She's a 40-year-old chick that owns the bar, and he kind of grabbed her, and I don't know if he's trying to put his tongue down her throat or what, but it was stupid. And between his wife and his brother, he's got to clean up a lot of baggage on social media.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
And I saw something with Mincy today. I saw y'all brought that up, too. I'm afraid to go click on that.
What happened?
He got fired from Barstool. Yeah.
Well,
was reading lyrics from a rap tune and read the lyric verbatim, which was a racial epithet, and they cut him.
Yeah.
And
he'll surface somewhere.
Portnoy was like, man, I know he didn't mean it. It's not in his heart. And I saw his little deal. And but, of course, they're heavily in gambling. If you go to LeBurge, they've got the Barstool deal in there now. And the heads above made him happy. But I don't even want to watch the video of Mincy doing it because it's I just know it's going to be awful.
Portnoy got crazy and
awful as in just like, oh no, because you know that guy's a good guy.
But Dave got crosshaired with Angel Reese. Remember after?
Oh yeah,
this.
yeah.
So he's not the most popular guy.
No,
right
he's
now.
not. But yeah,
and Scarborough does the better pizza review.
I need to go look at social media because I know there's a lot of people that are going to bat for Mincy on both sides of everything. So, but we'll see. But you know, he's a guy who was here for a while and a really likable guy. And man, you just hate to see that, but they did what they had to do.
He'll be somewhere with Ole Miss.
Yeah, and someone said, yeah. Okay, guys, thanks to all of you for tuning in. Go to TigerBait, subscribe, $1. Hit the like button on your way out if you enjoyed it. Subscribe button, notification bell. Thank you all for being a part of our show each and every week and helping our YouTube channel grow. You guys have been fantastic to us, and it's greatly appreciated. And we'll see you on the other side. Good night.